Good morning, travelers. Tara here, Hidden Lotus Tarot, and I'm coming to you today, November 20th, 2016, with the general reading for the sign of Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Please keep in mind that this is a general reading and therefore the messages will not resonate with everyone, in which case, please check back to your Moon and Rising sign in order to gain more clarity on your particular situation requires a personal reading. I do reading 6 days a week. I'm working on my website right now, so there may be a few glitches. Bear with me. For those of you, you guys have been very patient with me, and I'm so thankful and so humble. I'm very, very grateful for that. Um, to my new subscribers, welcome aboard. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can always go to the little information thing up in the corner and click on that. It'll take you directly over to the website. Now, if you're looking at my site on mobile, it's really crappy right now with the theme that I have. I'm not sure if it's because of me trying to put my courses up on that. I don't want to be running two websites. But anyway, I might have to. We'll just see how that plays out. So if you're you want to look for the information, I don't know, it may show up differently on different devices. You may have to scroll down to the very, very bottom of the main page. I don't even know, because when you open it up on my device, when I open it up, it shows courses, my dashboard, some other things. And then I have to scroll all the way down to the very, very bottom to get to the main menu where I can find the readings and whatnot. Bear with me on that as I try to work that out. Of course, I can't do much of anything being it's a Sunday today, but it is what it is. So I also have created a private Facebook group. You can go to the About section of the channel here, and the link is there. Please know that I have to approve you to come in. So if it doesn't happen right away, I will get to it. I'm also tweaking my different social accounts. So I've got a lot on my plate right now. So just kind of bear with me. Now, we had Neptune has gone direct today. And ideally, what should happen when it goes retrograde is you have greater access to your intuition. But that also kind of brings about a bunch of confusion. You're not trusting what your intuition is telling you. Well, now, hopefully, we've done some kind of work here. And looking at ourselves and getting in touch with our intuition. And now we're going to be hopefully getting some kind of clarity in those areas where we've been confused. I do feel that it's probably will be all the way until January before Neptune really gets back up to speed. So you may still be feeling a little confused about certain situations. And the reason why I say that is because Neptune is a big outer planet, so it takes it a lot longer to make its orbit. It's not unlike when Mercury goes retrograde. It's a close, smaller inner planet, so it travels faster. So we'll have 2 weeks of shadow phase before Mercury slows down. Then it goes into retrograde phase for about 3 weeks. And then as it stations direct and start to move forward again, it takes about 2 weeks for it to pick up speed. So if you look at that, that's like, what, 7, 8 weeks? It's ridiculous, but that's the way it works. We also have the transit of Jupiter in Libra. That's going to be, it started September 10th, and will be going all the way into 2017. I don't know when it leaves and moves into Scorpio. So for you Scorpions, anybody out there who's dealing with Scorpions, they're going to be having a big break coming up. You get Jupiter in your sign. Every sign gets to host Jupiter for a year. And that typically comes after a Saturn return. Saturn returns are very difficult. It usually lasts about 2 years. It can take up to 4 for you to really see yourself clear. But Jupiter comes in to give you gifts for that hard work that you put in during your Saturn return. That only happens every 12 years, okay? And then we have the new moon in Sagittarius coming up on the 29th. So with that being said, and you will find where Sagittarius is on your chart, and that can kind of tell you where some new beginnings could possibly be coming or happening, or where you can focus your energy on new things coming in for you. All right, so this is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for December 2016. Let's lay the cards. Three of Wands. Now see, Jupiter just left our sign and it's moved into Libra. Knight of Swords, Nine of Cups. So far, so good, people. Queen of Pentacles. So here is our earth sign, okay? Whether male or female, same sex or heterosexual. The Emperor. Always an impressive card. The Nine of Wands underneath the Nine of Cups. Well, I'm going to have to go to the thing and find out what the two nines mean. Typically, it means a time of isolation. And sometimes that typically happens after that first year. You host Jupiter that year that it comes in. But then the following year, it's typically a year where you feel isolated, as if you can't get any help. Nobody understands what you're going through. But that's only because Jupiter has presented you with a lot of opportunities and you're being asked to kind of spend that time alone so that you can focus on whatever things that you've developed that have come to you with the Jupiter return. The Death card. The Three of Swords. And the Page of Pentacles with the Four of Coins. Now, for those of you new to the channel, the tarot is separated into two sections. We have the regular 78 cards, which are known as the pip cards. These are going to include our court cards here and any of our numbered cards, the aces through 10, okay? The first section of the tarot are what are known as major arcana cards. Now, these hold more sway over the reading than the rest of these cards. The major arcana cards are stages of life that you go through. You can be on any stage of the time continuum, any point in time throughout your life, but they're also designed to help you with your spiritual growth and evolution. Okay, so they hold more sway. Now, right in the center, I have the Emperor. And the Emperor represents Aries. Aries represents the first house, the house of self. He's also representative of the archetype of the father. So in other words, this could be someone who is a mentor, a protector, someone that you can get good advice from. He may even be your father or a fatherly figure. The Emperor is someone who is able to balance both his emotions and his logic so that he can do the things that emperors do. He's more than a king, okay? That's how he became the emperor. You know, he knows that he has to walk softly and carry a big stick. It's carrot and stick kind of a thing. I might have to come over here and promise them this, and I'm going to do it out of the goodness of my heart. But really what he's trying to do is to gain more favor or gain more riches or gain more territory. Okay. But it's really the energy of about being able to balance, being self-actualized in the sense where you can balance your needs against the needs of other people. Okay, because he can also represent someone, military affairs. He can represent someone, a general, someone who's a leader. Okay, that's our focus. Now, the way the cards are read, past, present, future with the interplay of the cards. So here in the center, we have this energy of the Emperor. What I can see at the top here is that for many Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising, after the Jupiter return, we have now decided we're going to move in a certain direction. Okay, that's what the threes speak to. Now I have two threes here. I have two threes and I have two nines. And we're going to be talking about that in a second. But just on the surface, we have decided to either launch our ships out on some new projects, maybe even joining forces with someone, or we joined forces already and we're waiting for our ships to come in. For some, indeed, news will be coming in, okay? And it is something that you have, not only have you worked hard for, but it's something that you wished for, okay? That's that Nine of Cups. Now, the cups alone, most people say, well, that's all about love. It can be, yes. And we could say in one respect, maybe it is. There's that Three of Hearts there. But basically, just the basic principle of the cups is that it's all about emotion, okay? The way that you feel, or the way you feel about things. Now, we can see here that, and this is what it's kind of not really perplexing, but I can see here that in one respect, perhaps we're being in our earth energies, okay? But it also says to me that if there was a project that you wanted to get started, joining forces with someone, okay, that did not work out. It either ended or it changed in some way, okay? The Queen with the Emperor. Now, this could be Virgos just having to say, okay, look, I'm going to have to put something on the back burner. Okay. And I've accomplished a lot of things, but there's something else that I want to do. The two nines. Now, eventually, in the numerology, these will be turning into tens, and that's the end of a cycle. The Death card. There it is. But we can see that whatever change has come in also leads us into a feeling of loss and sorrow and heartache. Now, the 2 3s can be that there is a third party in the situation. We do have this page. That's another court card. This could be about children, because sometimes the pages do represent children under the age of 18. Okay. But also the Page of Pentacles is a student. And so this page is able to take whatever lessons that he's learned and turn them into some type of practical reality, okay? And I can see here that something that has been wished for or hoped for here in our earth energies, we are taking that forward, because in a sense, this Ace of Pentacles that she's holding is kind of like the Ace of Pentacles that this page is holding. So we're taking whatever this wish was that we've finally got control over, and we're going to move forward with it, either and spread a message or learn something from it. We're going to go into some type of learning idea. But now over here, I have something that we wish for that's related to this Emperor that either ends or it changes. Because what is death if it's not a change or a transformation? It could even speak to a regeneration. But we're still moving into this energy of this Three of Swords here. Now, this card, the Knight of Swords, swords represents thoughts, perceptions, ideas, and beliefs. We can see that something comes in. Something comes in to help us in this Three of Wands energy here. And it is something that we wish for, so to speak. But this card could be about rushing, debating, something revolutionary coming in. You see, he's shooting in. It's like all of a sudden the universe says, guess what? Here's your wish. It's arrived. Okay. This card also rules neighborhoods and communities. That could be why we have this Page of Pentacles here. I'm going to pull Sabila's on this because it's kind of an odd reading. There are only 2 major arcana cards here. So whatever this situation is, we have a lot of control over it. If it was weighted more heavily towards the major arcana, I would say that crap's totally out of our hands. Okay. Interestingly enough, this card represents the moon in Sagittarius, and we do have the new moon in Sagittarius coming up on the 29th. Now, I just got a message for myself. So, whatever this new moon is, we know that new moons mark an ending and completions and the start of a new beginning. The full moon represents the endings and the completions, wrapping up things, and then the new moon represents a brand new cycle, beginnings, starting things. We have that here with the Three of Wands. What perplexes me, and this card sits in a very, very prominent position. And if you've been on my channel for a while, you know, to me, that this is really the most important card in a 9-card spread because it links the past with the future. And right in the corner, we have death. So whatever this was about, it's either going to end or has ended in some way. Maybe you were waiting for your ship to come in and it didn't come in. Okay. Maybe you put your ships out to sea and that shit just fizzled out. I don't understand it. Well, yeah, I could say in one respect that if that happened on either end, then yeah, this is the way we would feel. There's a silver lining always to me in this particular deck. Sometimes we have to sacrifice some things. And let me tell you what this represents the time frame of October 3rd through the 12th. And it represents Saturn in Libra. And Saturn in Libra is about partnerships not being limited in some way. We have Jupiter in Libra now, and that's about the expansion of partnerships. But Libra is also about balance, and it represents justice, and there's a change here. I'm going to have to go to the Sibilas. Because I have this, you know, maybe we were trying to go in partnership with this fire sign person or an individual who represented this. We wanted to go in partnerships. Maybe we've been waiting around for that person to come back. Maybe there's been a lot of, I don't know. First we thought it was going to be great. Let's say we manifested it up. Who knows? But then you see all those wands. That means that it's really been kind of a struggle, so to speak. But nevertheless, to me, this card is the card of perseverance. It's also the card of being wounded. It is also the card that says, you know what? Even though this shit didn't go the way that I wanted it to, I still got enough gumption to go on. Okay, I'm just going to take a little break right now. Let the energy settle down. I'll accept whatever loss that was, and then I'm going to keep it moving. Now, this is what that's just an idea. As we can see, the Three of Wands with the Nine of Wands and the Death card. In one respect, this tells me that whatever new thing that you put together or that you've been wanting to do, you've been working very hard, that is about to come to an end. Okay? Yet when it ends, there's something you're going to have to give up. You're going to have to give up something. And that's what that card's saying to me. You're going to have to give up something. And it could simply be, instead of this being a person that you've been dealing with, it could simply be that you're going to have to be in that energy. And you're going to have to be more logic-based, the Two Swords here, than emotional-based. You're going to have to decide at some point, how do you want to move forward? Okay? Now we can see that this is also, this Four of Coins represents a time of either holding on to whatever gains that you've made thus far and not making any future moves. So you're investing your present gains towards the future, but could also be not wanting to move from your position. Okay, so we're going to go to the Sibilas. This line. I don't know what this line is telling me. So let's take a look. You know, this don't really, why would you wish that your daddy would die? That doesn't make any sense. So that doesn't play out for me. Now, it could be simply that the cards are trying to, in a roundabout way, say that you've had to put someone, quote unquote, to the side that you care about very, very much. Okay? And of course, this would make you feel that way. So I'm curious as to, first of all, let's see what the Nine of Wands is all about. And this could be, you know, something happening quite suddenly that leads to this. Because sometimes this Emperor can be someone who does not want to budge. They can be quite stubborn. My way or the highway kind of a thing. We do have this knight rushing in right quick. Maybe this is wishing that something was going to come in to help with this Three of Wands. Maybe that's what that's saying. And it does not happen. You know, this is just these two cards together. You know, in a way, I'm getting the death of a king. This card also speaks to it's lonely at the top. Okay. I mean, there's no grass around him. He's sitting in like a desert location. There's mountains all around him. And he is focused on what he has attained and what he can attain. And I guess trying to do it from a manner in which could be balanced and fair. I'm not exactly sure what that scepter is trying to tell me there. But it also speaks to kind of like, in one sense, it's lonely at the top. And all of the things that I wished for in order to get here really mean nothing in the end. And the reason why I say it's like the death of a king is because I have that king there. His crown is lying on the ground along with his scepter and his orb. Even though I said to you, the emperor is more than a king. Let's go to the Sibyllus. Maybe this is someone hoping for someone to come in, because the energy of this Queen of Pentacles, she's someone who is good with money. She knows how to budget. She knows how to make budgets, stick to budgets. She can handle a lot of money. She likes animals and children, and she is very, very stable, practical, has a love of ecology, you know, all into recycling and, you know, saving the earth. And if that's the case, then there's a message here. But this could be someone being resistant to change. Now it's starting to come into play. So let's take a look at what this Nine of Wands is trying to tell us. Because again, the card speaks to being wounded and persevering. This also can speak to waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm looking back over my shoulder. I'm waiting to see what's next to come. I know I got one more thing. One more thing is coming. And then it doesn't. I don't know. Well. Now I don't know if this card is speaking of, I have the Lanamika. I have the Disgrazia, the Tower card, and I have the Leggerezza. So I said the 2 threes could be there's a third party in the situation. I'm not picking that up, so to speak, except for the 3 people here. That's the Hierophant. That's the queen, and that's the page, the baby, or the inheritor of the situation. So I'm not exactly sure if what this is telling me is that someone sees this queen as an enemy, or has had defenses up like the queen was an enemy. Either way, this has caused a very, very misfortunate event. But then this card speaks to, it represents sensitivity, tact, and irritability. This could be somebody just being like, damn, I can't even deal with you. Okay. I'm going to pull, that's going to have me pull cards on these 2 threes here. Let's look at what the death card speaks to. You know, because I can see in one respect it deals with perhaps money, the way somebody feels, and their thoughts around it. But this page is like there's really a message here, and we should be learning from whatever this pentacle is. And pentacles represent really the doing, the practicality of doing something, but it's about tangible results in the real world. It's not something all floating up in the ether. All right, let's take a look at what the death card's telling us. Speranza, the end of hope. Remember I was saying you either put your ships out and waited for something and it didn't, manifest itself, or you were waiting for them to come in and it didn't happen. Either way, both of those scenarios, it changes things. Speranza is about hope, but then the other meaning of this card is waiting, dream, fear, and apprehension. Either way, that's changing. It's ending and it's changing. Happiness of the heart. So again, this speaks to, I would assume, some type of relationship issue or something that made you feel good or that you hoped and that you wished for ends, but it also changes things. And I think that's what's important for the important message to come across. It's not simply just an ending. It is a brand new beginning. And again, the end of fear. Now, this card is excessive attachment to a situation. And we do know that, rightly or wrongly, Scorpio is about control. This is the 8th house. This is the house of inheritances, taxes, child support, alimony, mortgages, those deadly sexually intimate agreements. You see, Libra represents the 7th house. It's known as the house of marriage and partnerships, but it also can be the house of open enemies. That is the surface of what is projected in a relationship, okay? The real work of relationship, whether it's a business relationship or not, is done in the 8th house. If you're in business partnership with someone, guess what? You got to figure out how to carve up the company. You have to figure out how to carve up the responsibilities, the duties. If we decide to split and sell the business, how are we going to do that? So that's where the real work is done. So this card, it's excessive attachment, perhaps, like I said, someone not wanting to change, fearing change. It could even be somebody not wanting to be happy for whatever reason. I don't know. But at the same time, this card can just speak to simply fear. You see, the guy's shooting himself in the head. And this is what Scorpio is ruled by both Mars which is the ruler of Aries, and also Pluto. And Pluto deals with those things of the underworld, okay? Those things that come up from the deep depth surface, and you're being asked to kind of look at those things and understand why it's coming up, what's triggering those things for you. And I would say in one respect, it almost reads like wanting to go into partnership with someone as if you met the right partner, okay, but that it did not go through. Now let's take a look at this Three of Swords here. Because they're swords, these are perceptions, ideas, beliefs, thoughts. It is communication. So we're looking at something that really has hurt to the core, so to speak. And it's odd because what I would ideally like to see is this, okay? This is what I'm feeling now. This is how I feel, but guess what? That's going to end. But that's not the way the cards fell. The cards say that there's an ending and then there's a beginning of this. So it's kind of funny, not like haha, but let's see what cards come out. I don't read reverse cards, so this could be all about the end of this, really. It could end up being like this, and this would show you that the swords are falling out. Okay. So let's see what the Sibilas have. Because I don't read reverse cards, they don't make any sense to me. In the context of the story, when I turn it upside down, I can't, it doesn't speak to me that way. So maybe the Sibilas can give us some clarification on this. Melancholia, depression and sadness. Well, that would make sense if this is what you're feeling. Dispiacere, again, that will make sense if that's what you're feeling. Worry, anxiety, fear. Now this keeps coming up here. Then I have these two cards. And then the letter. Communications. Now, I'm wondering if this is about something that ended and someone is waiting to hear from someone and they have not, and this is causing the Three of Swords. If they're worried about it, if maybe really, and if that's the case, then this is really the way I feel. You know, it's just weird. This card is weird here. Let's go up to the Three of Wands. The two threes. Now, remember I said that this is going to be a time of feeling isolated. Even that Nine of Cups can be acting as though you don't need anybody else. Being very smug. I already got every damn thing I need, so I don't need shit you got to offer me. And we can see that maybe something has come in and been offered here. You've been interfering with my plans, what I'm trying to do. Let's see what the Three of Wands is going to tell us here. And then I'm going to look at that Nine of Cups. Dinari, new projects coming in, something to do with finances or business or your sense of security. Fiaggio. Now, this is trips. Maybe this has been about business trips, okay? Trying to go out and do, and I do have the two horses traveling in this. So this could have been projects that have represented themselves, okay? And in which case, then I would kind of look at this like a pause, okay? I've got so many other things. I've got other things. And I would look at that Nine of Wands like perhaps a pause. But this could be the return of projects coming back to life quite suddenly. Indeed, projects that, you know, things that you've been thinking about, things that you wanted to do. Remember, it's coming in with this Nine of Cups here. things that you may have spent a lot of time working on in the past. You see the back's already to us right in the beginning. So this lets us know that the focus is already, it has always been someplace else, okay? And you know, maybe this queen is somebody that you're doing business with. Yeah. If she's not an earth sign individual, then she's going to be someone who, as I say, handles accounts, might be a business owner, an executive of some sort, and who may have been quite difficult to deal with. But now there's a revival of this. You know, the cards can speak to so many things on different levels. Now, I want to look at this Nine of Cups. You see, there's that blue, the color blue represents calmness, okay? The hat represents clarity of thought, the red hat. So there's someone who's kind of resting on their laurels, so to speak. I already got everything. But we also know that we can assume that this veil here hides something else that would complete this and make it a 10 of Cups, okay? So this card could be about being smug and acting as though you don't need anybody else because you already think that you feel that you got everything that you need. But then that's only a 9, and 9s speak to isolation. So you may have everything that you want, but you're also by yourself with it, and that shit ain't no fun. Remember I said it's lonely at the top? That's kind of what I'm getting. I don't know what this means out there. I don't know what this means. Why do I know? Because all I'm doing is trying to get my website working. I don't know what the hell's going on. Okay, let's look at the Nine of Cups. Fortuna. So yes, indeed, if old projects have come back around, something very fortunate. It is something that finally, see, there's a Wheel of Fortune there. Can you see that? The tide has turned. Ah, well, look at this. The Dona Maritata. Well, now, remember I was saying it's like maybe you think it's like you've met a partner that you know is the right partner for you, but it just didn't happen. Maybe it didn't happen because you already felt that you had everything that you needed. And if this is not, and this would be a partner in any sense, someone who is going to be able to help you take care of some things. Yeah, let's just put it that way. Someone who's nurturing and if coming with this energy of the Queen, who's quite efficient and quite capable. Now, this is interesting because the Yardro has come. Now, this card, the true meaning is theft of goods or services and the like. Well, I kind of don't know. Remember I was saying, well, maybe this is somebody that you're working with and they've been difficult to deal with, and maybe you feel like they, you know, because people can steal, you know, your time, your energy, your emotions, your thoughts, your love, your trust, your faith. Let's take a look at what this Page of Pentacles is all about. No matter what, the Four of Pentacles says that you're kind of on a solid foundation here. And I have these people sitting on thrones and benches here. Let's see what the page, there's a message here. That's what the page is telling us. There's something to be learned here. Okay. In the general sense. And I'm probably going to look at this Four of Pentacles as well. And then I'm going to pull a Angel Answer card. So let's see. Contracts, solid bonds, unions, nuptials, marriage. Lamante, female. Now, remember I said there's 3 people subtly that could be what that's talking about. Well, what do you know? A message coming. And the 2 lovers are looking at each other. Look at that. Wow. After all of whatever this foolishness is, I don't know. Let's take a look at the 4 of Pentacles. Wow. And this could be stolen hope, stolen wishes, stolen dreams. Why? Maybe, things coming in. It could even be somebody from the past. There's our 3 people if we're going to look at this Emperor as an individual. Giovani Fanciulla, something new. This also represents the Virgin and Virgo, and it has nothing to do with being sexless. It is about being independent and able to take care of yourself. You, like I said, you may have accrued some gains, so you're saving the present gains towards future investments. The Amuletto, well, you may feel like you're not going anywhere, so you're like, oh, Jesus. Because 4s speak to stability, kind of like nothing moving, okay? Even though you've done something, you still perhaps feel as though you're not getting anywhere. You're not accruing anything new. You're not seeing any gains, the coins. Alegria, family and friends, happiness. Now, I was just telling somebody that the Sibila makes a distinction in the 2 types of happiness. Here we have the happiness of the heart. This speaks to ourself. Remember, this is what Aries rules, the house of self. And then this is family and friends. Now, I don't know what that means. Moon in Sagittarius. And it rules groups, foreigners, people at a distance, higher education, travel. I don't know what this is trying to tell me, these 3 cards here. They made sense when I first pulled it out, but I don't know. All right, let's pull one angel answer card. Virgos, I hope that message helped you. Two messages here. Maybe this is someone not wanting to let go of past communications or past hurts, excessive attachment. But it could also be someone who has a fear. This is requited love. Maybe they have a fear that the person no longer loves them anymore. I don't know. I don't know. All right, one card for whatever question wasn't answered here. It says be assertive. I have no idea what that means. I'll kind of can back up that Emperor energy there. Maybe it's saying that oh, well, this angel has removed her mask. I don't know if you can see that. I can't tell. Can you see that? I don't think you can even see that. This is kind of crappy, but this angel is holding a mask right here. There. You can kind of see it a little bit. See, it's a mask. At first, I thought it was a scepter. It kind of mirrors this Ankh scepter that this emperor is holding. Be assertive. Well, when you hear the word assertive, it kind of has a negative connotation to it because sometimes it can mean be pushy. You know, somebody's assertive, and that's a nice way of calling somebody pushy. Maybe that's part of it. But the implication behind this card is to remove the mask and let your true light shine through. And sometimes in order to do that, we have to be assertive. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be nasty and ugly to people, but simply that you have to stand your ground, so to speak. You know, there's these little things that are on the side. They're like yods. And yods are the finger of God. They point you in the right direction. But sometimes yods can create a lot of conflict because there are opposing energies at play. But nevertheless, what a yod is in a chart, it looks like a triangle, and it will be a triangle. And it is the two opposing forces that come together. But the way through it is that tip of the triangle. That's the way through it. So it's about figuring out how to combine. Why? Because if you can do that, if you can successfully navigate that, then there are riches beyond your wildest imagination in all areas of your life. Okay? That's what yods. Yods is really the finger of God or the divine showing you the way through to whatever your destiny or whatever it is your life purpose is. Okay? And that's kind of what I'm picking up for that. I don't know what that means for some of you. I hope this message helped. I hope that it made sense to you. I'm still kind of confused as to what I'm saying, but I don't need to. Well, because I got to work on my website. All right. So that's it. I will talk to you. I will see you soon. And thank you. Namaste. Virgos. And this has been happening to me all stinking day long. But that's that Neptune going direct. Yay. Cards are speaking. You remember that last row of cards? It was the Death card, the Three of Swords, and the Page of Pentacles. And then I had on the Death card, I had Speranza, Allegrezza al Cuore, and the Desperate Jealousy. On the, let's see, I don't remember what the other card was here. Maybe it's in the deck someplace. Let's see. There's those three cards. Just bear with me a second because there was a message that I got when I closed the cards down. It wasn't those three. Wait a minute. Was it these three? The Melancolia, the Dispiacere, and the Letter. I think that's right because these three cards came together. Those three cards came together. And those three cards. Right. Okay. So, and I was saying that it kind of read like perhaps someone thought that someone didn't love them anymore. Maybe that they've been waiting for a message or they've been fearing, because this card speaks to requited love. So maybe they've been fearful of contacting the person. And the reason why I say that is because these three cards fell on the Page of Pentacles. And that card is about receiving a message or a message being imparted to you. But the main theme of that card would be that there's a message for you in the physical world. And that maybe the Pentacles are all about the physicality of doing something. So maybe it could be if you've been waiting on a message or you want to speak to someone, that will be brought about through when the sun is in Capricorn. Okay? And maybe what that's saying, so it falls on that Four of Pentacles to say either to wait to either send the message or wait to, or someone's still waiting to receive the message. And maybe that message will be coming forth in whenever the sun enters, which is going to be in December sometime. And oddly enough, what was underneath this Four of Pentacles was the Venus card. And I think at some point Venus goes into a retrograde transit. Now, if someone has a natal natal Venus retrograde, this could be someone who doesn't feel worthy of love, who has had bad luck in love, who might be quite suspicious of love. Remember I was talking about those two nines? But whenever, like I have a Saturn retrograde, okay? So in other words, whenever Saturn goes into retrograde, that energy really doesn't bother me because I'm used to it all the time. So the same thing, anytime you have a planet that is retrograde natally, you're used to that kind of restrictive energy, okay? And so maybe what the Be Assertive card is that at some point someone gets up and rallies around, they leave this space and coming to something that really has some kind of solid stability in it. The two Pentacles represent a physical value. A physical value. There's a physical value in this. The Empress comes out also, not just to talk about Venus, but also speaks to self-worth, self-value, those things that you own, those things that you have worked for. How do you, money can't buy you love, but they're kind of two sides of the same coin, so to speak. What is your relationship with money? Do you think that you are better or a better person because you have more money and you should be treated better because you have more money, like an entitled thing? Or do you feel that because you don't have a lot of money that you're less than, or people treat you less than? So it's kind of looking at how money and love equate for you. It also speaks to Venus that there's could be, Venus represents the love, the money, the beauty, the wealth, and the income. That's no mistake that the Empress brings about those things. And again, it's another three. So it will be about three things coming together to make a third thing. And we keep seeing that kind of a theme there. In terms of if there's somebody else in the picture, could be, maybe not. Maybe it's somebody from the past. Maybe it could be somebody coming up within the future. Why? Because this represents Saturn and Libra. And again, Libra is not only about those partnerships that you have, but once it becomes the open enemy, that can literally be a third person. And that's always the challenge of having a lot of factors in Libra. There's always either somebody coming in, putting a strain on the relationship, or things coming in, putting a strain on the relationship. So I would say that perhaps sometime in December, maybe corresponding with a Venus transit, that this is what's going to come into play, because that is the most important card in that particular spread. It is this Amalato, I think, that, and this, like I said, it could literally be someone coming to terms with whatever this Four of Coins means. Okay. All right, that's the last message. This has been happening all day. I've got 2 more readings. I've got Libra and Scorpio to do. So I'm going to go have some lunch, and I hope that kind of helped. Till next time, namaste.